This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, inadequate education funding is compromising our children's education and their futures. The evidence is mounting. The future for some areas of the South is sketchy. Population boom and bus cycles are not evenly distributed. And public frustration gets vocal at a meeting for Dunedin Public Hospital with concerns raised and deadlines proposed. Good evening, and with The South Today, I'm Craig Story. A Queenstown-based primary school principal says her school is feeling the pinch due to inadequate school funding from the government. Debbie Dickinson of Remarkable's primary school says that she is having to make difficult decisions that could compromise the quality of education the community expects. Better Funding, Better Learning campaign van was parked outside the school this morning, collecting signatures from parents to lobby the government to build and fund better schools. Mina Amso was there.
Remarkable's primary school kids learning about the drop-off zone, a lesson of many they'll learn at school. But while the school aims to provide the best education for these kids, a funding freeze on the operational costs by the government is challenging that.
All of the support staff have reduced to just the mornings only. And then there could be further cuts.
She says it has put a lot of pressure on teachers and her to provide the expected quality education, but with limited resources and funding. Dixon says if funding cuts continue will mean the school can't offer services that used to provide in the past.
Finding it really difficult to make ends meet with our support staff. We had to totally freeze our budget last year and say we can't buy any more resources, no more books, no more incidental spending from any of the staff because we just didn't have any money for anything.
Hughes says most of the community is not aware of the funding freeze and its effects on schools. The Better Funding for Better Learning campaign, backed by Post-Primary Teachers Association and the New Zealand Educational Institute, was in full swing this morning. This is the Better Funding, Better Education van that has been travelling the length of the country, starting from the South Island in Bluff, and will be moving forward north to Kaitaia and the North Island. Today, it was in Queenstown.
So we're here to talk to families and ask if they would support by signing a postcard to the Minister asking for the freeze on the operations grant to be lifted and to reinstate 100% funding for early childhood education.
The government froze school operational grants in last year's financial budget.
We've got to give our kids as much resources as they possibly can. I think the schools are doing a fantastic job, but they need more.
Reynolds hopes this campaign moves the pressure from principals and teachers to the government and put education first on the agenda this election. Mina Amso, The South Today.
Firefighters from Mosgiel Station were called to a fire in the playground at Mosgiel Memorial Park just after 11 p.m. Monday night. Community members are saddened by the arson attack on a set of big blue slides in the park. However, Mosgiel Community Playgrounds Trust Chairman Jeff Woodcock says the Trust is taking the incident in its stride.
It's just one of the things that sometimes happens, but in the whole context, we opened this playground 10 years ago and we've had no significant vandalism in those 10 years. So it's really an isolated event and we're seeing it like that.
Dunedin City Council Parks Operations Manager Hamish Black says repairing the playground is expected to cost around $40,000. Repairs will take several months though. Mosgiel Police are wanting to hear from anyone who saw any suspicious behaviour on Monday night. New figures from economic think tank the Maxim Institute showed a mixed forecast for Dunedin's population growth. A report by researcher Julian Wood says while South Island centres such as Queenstown are set to expand, other areas including Southland are facing decline.
Maxim has released a report showing 44 of the country's 67 local authority regions will stagnate or decline within 30 years. And Maxim researcher Julian Wood says the news is good and bad for Dunedin.
I've run the numbers this afternoon, and if we look at Dunedin City, you've become one of the regions that this migration has altered the numbers a little bit. So you've now become a region that is not predicted to have zero growth or even intrinsic decline in the time frame. But there's a caveat to this, and that is that you're still feeling the effects of this ageing population. So the growth that you do have, the majority of it is the 65 plus age group.
He says the ageing population is having a big impact, and after 2033, population growth is set to slow down dramatically. That could place the city's infrastructure under severe financial strain.
People suggest actually is that you actually accept that this ageing population is going to happen, and you seek opportunities to that come with that, because there are a lot of opportunities that come with an ageing population. People's taste and preference changes, the type of tourism that people engage in.
Wood says it is not possible to turn around the trend of ageing population and declining birth rate. He says Dunedin has had a steady pool of net migration over the years from around the country, but the community will have to be even more welcoming to new arrivals with these recent figures. Dunedin City Council's Fraser Liggett says the figures are not a cause for alarm.
As part of our long-term planning processes, we actually look at demographics every 3 years. And from a Dunedin City perspective, we don't actually believe we're in that stagnate space.
He remains confident Dunedin can sustain its growth beyond the next 30 years. Roselle Labone, The South Today.
Buster, a yellow-eyed penguin from Dunedin, is recovering after a recent shark attack. About a fortnight ago, the little fella was found at Papanui Inlet with an abdominal wound from a shark bite. Buster has been taken to a rehabilitation centre at Penguin Place at Harrington Point with a few other penguins in need of fattening up. Penguin Place representatives say Buster is recovering well, eating fish, raising his weight from 5 kilos to 8 kilos. He'll be released back into the wild in the inlet in the next few weeks. Public frustration over the delay-ridden Dunedin hospital rebuild was evident at a vocal meeting in Dunedin last night. About 120 people attended the event organised by the Ministry of Health and the Southern DHB. Retired medical school dean Graham Mortimer was concerned the teaching and the research role of the facility were being overlooked.
Is Dunedin's greatest strength. The fact that the medical school is here. That the university staff spend half their time, or did, on patient care. But health science students are here. When you talk about moving outpatients elsewhere, have you thought about all the needs of all those related staff that have given Dunedin its traditional strength?
Rebuild boss Andrew Blair responded that much consideration has been given to the relationship between the DHB and the medical school. Blair examined the size and the site of the building had not yet been determined. It will be completed, however, in 2022 at the earliest, 2025 at the latest. Still to come on The South Today, thriller readers come out from behind their curtains to bask in the flickering light of one of their heroes.
Grandad loved his family and surfing, in that order. He taught me to surf, and we spent a lot of time in the water together over the years. When he died, I strapped the camera to the nose of his old board and filmed the paddle out at St Clair. Gillian's played the video on the big screen at his funeral. Grandad would have loved having everyone come out one last surf with him.
Gillian's Funeral Services, helping families celebrate the lives of their loved ones for generations. Gillians.co.nz.
Active Furnishers Limited, home of quality service with superior product and an in-house design team who are always happy to advise and create an imaginative solution for you. Active Furnishers Limited, part of Dunedin's design history.
Here is this week's Mole Map UV report. Did you know if you tan easily or have dark skin, you're still at risk of skin cancer?
If you've ever been on a sunbed or been badly sunburnt, what are the chances you could have melanoma? Remove the doubt. Get a mole map.
They say the grass is always greener But not if you have Ready Lawn. Call Ready Lawn today and make them green with envy. If you've always dreamed of building a new home or renovating your existing home, make it happen. Go to the Home Show, 3rd, 4th, 5th of March at the More FM Arena at the Edgar Centre. Adults $10, children free. See you at the Home Show.
The University of Otago, New Zealand's only true collegiate university. For first-year students, the history, the expectations of excellence are
unfamiliar.
G'day, I'm next door.
Hi, next door. I'm Samantha Pascoe.
No, you're not. I'm Josh, Clyde, Science. And you are?
Sam, Hastings, Laura and Arts.
Tane, Auckland, Commerce. Osaka, Greece, Classics. History.
Don't suffer in silence. Call Sunny Chin, Chi Master Body Technician for structural, muscular, emotional bodywork. Phone 03 4250 606 for all your pain relief.
Silverhorn Active Manuka Honey from the natural Manuka forests of New Zealand. Buy one 250-gram pot for $34.90 and get a second pot for half price. Order online at silverhorn.co.nz.
Arrow International knows what the essential ingredient is for accomplishing great projects, working with great people. 30 years on and 3,000 projects later, with 10 offices and 400 staff nationwide, a company who values partnerships with their clients and carries a strong reputation for passion, integrity, and the love of a challenge, excelling in the construction industry and helping to create, with our partners, more iconic New Zealand buildings.
From rare to the recent, visit the legendary Hard to Find for your quality second-hand books, with the largest stock in New Zealand and a friendly book-loving atmosphere. For good prices, buying or selling, come visit 20 Dowling Street.
Gillians and Silverhorn bring you Rub of the Green, lawn bowls from around the south. Saturday night at 7, replaying on Sunday at 1 p.m. and Tuesday at 3:30.
Thank you for staying with the South Today. Last night, around 60 Dunedin fans of thriller writing were spellbound by American author Greg Hurwitz. The event at the Dunedin Public Library was part of the author's worldwide book tour for his latest work.
Move over, Lee Child. Greg Hurwitz is fast becoming one of the biggest authors in the genre of thriller novels. The first of his Orphan X series of novels has already been translated into 20 languages. We asked him how he felt about taking time away from home to promote his books.
Well, I actually love going on tour. I especially love going to different countries because it's always interesting what questions are prominent on the minds in different countries. You get different questions in New Zealand than I did, certainly in Russia or Norway. And so it's always fun, and for me it's really gratifying seeing how this character who means so much to me is connected with readers. And Orphan X has been translated into 20 languages, and so it's always exciting for me to hear and interact with people as the translations start to roll out around the world.
Hurwitz admits his main character of professional hitman Evan Smoke is partially modelled on himself, but whether his character has ever visited New Zealand was unclear.
Evan Smoke might have been in New Zealand already. All of his records are redacted. We don't know. We don't have information about that. But at some point he might make a visit. But I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing given what he does for a living, so we have to wait and see.
Greg Hurwitz's talk is just one of an ongoing series of events featuring visiting writers at Dunedin Public Library. Rudy Adrian, The South Today.
And here's a new reason to head down Invercargill's Tay Street. Starting at the end of the month, the cafe and the grill will be open for dinner 5 nights a week. Transport World will also be offering drive-in movie nights, watching vintage films while sitting in the classic vehicles on display. Good one. The Grills at Matthew Jackson says the increased demand for attractions and accommodation in Invercargill, well, it's only a matter of time before the restaurant and the museum's business expanded.
The idea of evening dining was always on the cards. It was just it was a matter of when we were going to do it. We've been going about 16 months now, so now the time's right. Coming into winter, we've got all our systems in place. We've opened our new cafe within the the Motorbike Museum down at Mekespresso, so that's up and running. So now it's on to the next phase of what we want to do.
He says it'll be good to give the public another option for going out in Invercargill. Stay where you are, please, because after the break on the South Today, trampers are treated to the return of an old friend they haven't seen for 3 years. How many scones would you scoff if you just biked 7,000 kilometres? And of course, tomorrow's ODT and the weather, of course.
Dunedin is recognised by UNESCO as a city of literature. Find out how this came about and what it means for the city. In Dunedin, a city of literature, 7 p.m. Sundays. Proudly brought to you by Hard to Find Books.
Here is this week's Mole Map UV report. Did you know, in recent years, the number of New Zealanders dying from melanoma has been as high as the road toll?
If you've ever been on a sunbed or been badly sunburnt, what are the chances you could have melanoma? Remove the doubt. Get a mole map.
The University of Otago, an institute of world-class education and the social epicentre of the city, with outfits needed for more formal functions like the ball and for less formal functions like
the zoo. Are you sure?
Yeah, trust me.
Yeah, Dad, you'll definitely see me. I'm the one in the yellow and blue face paint and the onesie in the zoo.
Hi, welcome back to Alex Campbell Menswear. We're filming again from our Mosgiel store. We're having a 3-store wide sizzling summer sale. It's the end of the season. We have sizzling prices in short sleeve shirts, polos, shorts, jeans. We've got specials in trousers. It's a sizzling summer sale.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
It's a sizzling summer sale.
Ecrotech Limited have been supplying beekeeping equipment and honey products in New Zealand for over 100 years. A specialist manufacturer of hiveware and plastic products for the beekeeping industry. They are the leading supplier of beekeeping equipment nationwide. For all your beekeeping needs, visit ecrotech.co.nz or call 0800 11 7766.
Here is this week's Mole Map UV report. Did you know, in recent years, the number of New Zealanders dying from melanoma has been as high as the road toll?
If you've ever been on a sunbed or been badly sunburnt, what are the chances you could have melanoma? Remove the doubt. Get a mole map.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 15 years. New doors, replacement doors, repairs and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team at 553 Kaikoai Valley Road. Visit www.garrador.co.nz or call us on 488 5676.
Get finance and get on the road. Talk to MTF today.
Welcome back to the South Today. Trampers will again be able to complete the full Rhys Dart circuit track near Mount Aspiring National Park as of today. The track reopened following a 3-year closure due to the ongoing issues caused by the Te Kuroa and Slipstream area landslide. And that was back in January of 2014, forming a 3-kilometre long lake. Now, trampers are advised to contact the Queenstown or Wanaka Department of Conservation Visitor Centres for the latest track information and booking. Indian-born Canadian-American preacher Ravi Zacharias is halfway through the first trip of the South Island of New Zealand. Zacharias, whose list of speaking engagements includes the White House and the Pentagon, addressed civic, education and business leaders on secularism at breakfast at the Dunedin Town Hall this morning.
Known for his intellectual, balanced approach to Christian apologetics, a field of theology that espouses reason and historical accuracy, Ravi Zacharias could be called the C.S. Lewis of the age. He is in Dunedin for the first time and today presented a leaders' breakfast following on from his appearance at the Forsyth Bar Stadium this weekend to an audience of over 4,000. I caught up with Zacharias for a conversation on the topics of truth, politics and the role of the New Zealand media.
Oh, you also on Saturday quoted Malcolm Muggeridge as his discussion on a fishbone stuck in the throat of the handheld microphone. And, but in fact, in a discussion that you had in 1993 with Just Thinking magazine, you mentioned that in an event where there was an argument around words, the word target, it was the journalist who in fact fished out the lie in that instance. In terms of today's climate, which some might see as similar to some of the Cold War era, what is the journalist's role in pulling the fishbone out from the microphone, and what difference can the New Zealand media, seemingly at one remove, make?
I think the journalist is very important in our time to tell us the truth, because we are hearing so many voices, so many sounds. We are making key decisions that affect the lives of people. And if ideology takes over facts, then distortion will abound.
You have been commended for your balanced approach in debate and conversation with men and women from disparate backgrounds around the world. How do we instigate peace between leaders, if not with universalism? And does it come with a knife, or does it come with an olive branch?
Oh, that's a marvelous question. This has been my life. I have had so much of my life spent with people with opposing viewpoints. I think the word tolerance is a very misused word, because tolerance has two edges to it. But we don't like the other edge. We only like the edge that suits us.
You said in another interview regarding Dawkins' rally for reason in Washington, his comments against Christians while in Christian countries were made with impunity. Is it still your view that Dawkins is a belligerent atheist? And if so, is the rest of the world behind him?
He's free to believe what he does, and thankfully we are free to believe what we do, and we know in the end the answers of Jesus are much brighter than those of Richard Dawkins.
At the breakfast, Zacharias also talked about his experiences as a 17-year-old so desperate for answers that he tried to take his own life. It is through these experiences that he says he found the true calling of God. Roselle LeBone, The South Today.
A Dunedin teen is looking forward to Grandma's home cooking after cycling nearly 7,000 kilometres. Hamish Kirkman, who's 14, and his father Chris have circumnavigated New Zealand on their push bikes. They went through 5 sets of tyres and more than a few adventures, and the pair are looking forward to being in Dunedin by the end of this week. However, both are enjoying meeting a lot of people along the way.
I do remember one guy who was actually really nice of him when we turned up in Arthur's Pass. And it had been raining this particular day when we got in. We'd just got into the dock camp and we were shivering a wee bit as we were signing in. This guy comes up and says, "Would you like a cup of tea?" And this was a guy from Israel, and he was actually living in China, but he was over here with his family actually doing some camper van touring, so that was actually really, really nice of him to do that, and that was just a total stranger.
The pair spent 18 months planning their cycle journey around New Zealand on the cycle trails, but they were originally going to take part in a one-way cycle trek. But at the end of the country, they decided to go the whole hog. It's back to work and back to school for Hamish and his dad on Monday. The Kaikorai Valley College pupil says he's looking forward to sleeping in a bed, but he's somewhat less excited about returning to school. Well, of course. Let's recap tonight's top stories on the South Today. A Queenstown-based primary school principal says her school is feeling the pinch due to inadequate education funding from this government. New figures from economic think tank the Maxim Institute showed a mixed forecast for Dunedin's population growth, while Queenstown, it's expanding. And public frustration spilled over at a meeting in Dunedin's Hutton Theatre last night about delays at Dunedin's public hospital. All right, tomorrow's ODT. Let's talk with Barry Stewart. What's going on in tomorrow's paper?
Well, the Ombudsman says treatment of Otago Corrections Facility prisoner was in breach of the UN Convention Against Torture. So that'll go all the way to the top. Luxury cruise ship in town. Our reporter Margot Taylor stepped on board into a world of marble floors, butlers, a head chef who wasn't shy to tell us tales of cooking for the Queen, Robert De Niro and Madonna. So interesting tale there. And another odd one, police are keen to catch up with a motorcyclist who posted a picture of himself doing 239 kilometres an hour.
Again?
239 kilometres an hour. Is that what you meant?
Yes. 239?
That's fairly quick, isn't it?
Holy!
Yes, fairly quick and fairly dangerous. So more details of that in the paper. $20 million development proposed at Walter Peak Station. That includes an amphitheatre, a wedding chapel and a restaurant for events. So exciting development there in Queenstown. And we also talked to the University of Otago Oval groundsman ahead of the upcoming cricket test between Black Caps and South Africa.
That sounds very interesting. A good issue.
Yep.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
All right, stand by. Here comes the weather.
This weather update proudly brought to you in association with Silverhorn Sports Val.
All right, and the Southern View, that's the Feldwick Gates in Invercargill. Very pretty place. Spend an afternoon there if you can. On board a cruise ship, ooh la la, I can smell the caviar. And to the situation, another day of delicious high pressure for the next few days. Warmer conditions up until Saturday. A cold front will bring a few showers. And if you're from Auckland, hey, you brought it with you. To the southern outlook, Balclutha, moderate westerlies, fine, 20 Catlins, it's the same. Gore, it's beautiful. Bit of brown trout fishing while you still can. And Lumsden, including the population of 405, fine and 20. And to the central outlook, it's all beautiful through there. Queenstown, light winds, fine, 23. Same for Wanaka. Te Anau, Takahe country, freshening westerlies, cloud increasing in 19. Wanaka, beautiful, fine, 23. Off to Awamaru, looking for light nor'easters, very fine conditions, 19. The place of light on Marama, light winds, fine and 24. Timaru, light northerlies, fine, 21. And Twizel, deep dark nights, light winds and 23 degrees. Dunedin tonight, well look, it's just great here. It'll cool down a little bit later after sundown, 7 degrees. Thursday, sunny and fine, mostly a little cloud. Friday, mild and northerlies will be gathering along with a little bit of high cloud. Cooler later on, 11 and 20 and 8 and 23 for Friday. Good numbers for that. And Invercargill, fine and a very satisfying evening this evening with 7. Friday, fresh westerlies, 10 and 21 your numbers. Saturday, drops a few showers as the day unfolds. Fresh, cool westerlies, 9 and 18. And that is your midweek, the South Today, on behalf of the hard-working team. Good evening, I'm Craig Story.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.